Talk about the Twilight Zone, and you'll be talking about a country you and I know so well about. Our black American friends will say, another day, another drama. Last week, we were here on this platform to talk about the plans by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration to distribute what they call subsidy palliatives to the most vulnerable Nigerians. Well, 1 week after then, we are here to talk about recent developments. Of course, within the week, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration did decide to review the subsidy palliatives. Of course, the outcry from Nigerians were just unanimous. It was unacceptable that 8,000 naira will be distributed to a family, average of 5 for a month. And this will be done for a period of 6 months. And by their calculation, by then, they would have moved these families sufficiently out of poverty for them to stand on their feet. While Nigerians did not get it, the administration, kudos to this administration, they listened and they've talked about a review. But then, just before anybody could say jack, another one has happened. Nigerians are still having to deal with the effects of the over 200% naira percent increase from 197 naira to 500 and maybe 37 naira increase. And that happened overnight, that announcement by NNPCL. Well, here it is. The official rate is said to be 617, but who is really buying at 617 and where? Nigerians are forced to buy petrol right now at sometimes 630, 700, wherever, I mean, just whatever. But it is official that the price of petrol has increased. Today on Citizens Forum, our conversation will be about the reaction of Nigerians and also organized labor to all of this. What is really going on? Do we see any light at the end of the tunnel, as they would say? Don't forget that within the week, NEC also met, the National Executive Council, of course, presided by the Vice President of the country, Senator Shettima. And some far-reaching decisions have been taken. Assurances are also coming that, well, FAC, with more funds being given to the states from FAC, states will see how they can augment the living conditions of Nigerians. The register that was operated by the past administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has also been declared, well, fraudulent, if you would permit my English, by this administration. And so right now, the states will be responsible to come up with a register of the poorest of the poor, as we call them, but vulnerable Nigerians, like they call them. Our guest today on Citizens Forum is someone who is in a position to know exactly what organized labor is saying about all of this. I'm ready. My guest on the other end is quite ready, and we bet you're ready. My name is Jude Geoman, and I welcome you to today's edition of Citizens Forum. Of course, we'll make this connection with him and begin the program right away. Citizens Forum welcomes you. All right, I'll try to make this connection, and once it does, we'll begin the talk. Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome to Citizens Forum on Radio TV Sapiencia.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, my guest today on Citizens Forum is Comrade Humphrey Nwosu. He is NLC chairman, Anambra State. Okay, the very first question. I will ask you, what is really going on?
You mean?
We have to buy petrol at a higher price right now. And we also recall as Nigerians that when May 29th announcement did happen, organized labor was the first to call attention to how that was impossible for the everyday Nigerian to cope with. Along the line, organized labor were convinced by whatever discussion they had with the federal government and decided to give the federal government some time. We saw that happen. And we also saw the promise of palliatives, which organized labor once again also agreed or maybe looked at and said, well, give this government time. Well, today it seems as though the NLC is back to the trenches or thinking about getting back to the trenches. So the question I'm asking is, you are a Nigerian like us, We are buying fuel at a more expensive price right now, and the subsidy palliative have been promised to us. So I don't know what you think about all of this.
Well, just like you said, we all are Nigerians. We are living in Nigeria. We are citizens of Nigeria.
Yeah.
So the truth remains that nobody is finding it easy, both the rich and poor, the working class and the non-working class. Those who are in the private sector, they are not finding it easy. You understand? Nigerian Labour Congress, as you know, is a moving force that represents the interests of workers, not only the workers, but the entire Nigerians. You understand? So what we are saying, just like the civil society organization is equally calling on President to hasten up the palliative measures they have in mind. As the state chairman of Nigerian Labour Congress in Anambra State, our governor is part of the committee that was set up.
Yes.
So all of us, we are feeling the pains. We are feeling the pains. Like we said, between May and now, the price of the pump price has gone up from 186 to 617 naira, 600 naira, as case may be, especially in Anambra State here. Do you understand? So all I can say now is that we have to allow some time for government to maybe roll out the palliative measures they have in mind. You understand? And remember, negotiation is still ongoing at the federal level. So, and until they round up, then we at the state level will now key in into what is happening.
Okay, let me ask you a question before let me ask you this.
Okay.
How inclusive is the NLC? And when I say this is what I mean. The different organs, the state organs of the party.
Yes.
How well carried along is it? And because we do hear Labour, we read the papers, watch television, and when they say the NLC has said, of course, it's just understood that that is being said by the national body. But then before that decision is taken, before that stance is taken, it's okay, this is the stance Labour has taken. This is what Labour thinks about this policy. This is what must happen before Labour agrees to this. How does that process go through? Are the state chapters in tune with what the national body is saying?
Yeah, because normally the national body used to call for National Executive Council meeting, where they will tell us what is happening, the extent they have gone, and who will charge them to continue or not to continue.
All right.
Understand?
All right.
There is an organ that incorporates both the national and the state organs of NLC, and that is called National Executive Council. You understand?
All right. Now, I needed to get that confirmation from you before I ask you the next question. When we started out, I said, and you also agreed, that we are all Nigerians and we live in this country. So we can't be analyzing things like we are Americans, and they have some kind of a system that runs. Their institutions run differently from the way ours run. They have a different economy, a different purchasing power and all. So let's talk as Nigerians who understand how these things play out. Not me, but the federal government. We saw NEC meeting. We saw them this week agree that the social register that was operated by the past administration was fraudulent, and they discarded it.
Yes.
Governor Chukwuma Soludo was also in that meeting. They discarded that. Listen. Now, a week before that was done, if any of us in the media had said that was fraudulent, we would have been said to be busybodies. What is it our friends in politics call us these days? Middlesome interlopers. There's one beautiful name they call, I can't remember, but then they would have said that. But this administration has agreed that that register was fraudulent. But before they said that, the everyday Nigerian knew it was a fraud. We knew that 61 million Nigerians were said to be benefiting from a scheme that I don't know anybody in my village that benefits from it. Right? And then the amount that was also distributed, even if that amount is given to a family, to a Nigerian citizen, we would be dishonest to ourselves that a Nigerian citizen is expected to survive on 5,000 naira a week. But then here was a scheme that said it was giving 5,000 naira to a family of 5. Now that is the greatest joke of the century. Okay. Yeah. Now here we are again in 2023. Yeah. The pain Nigerians are feeling from the sudden increase in petrol price and all its attendant, it affects every other thing, is just off the roof. We've heard yesterday that Unity schools that used to charge 45,000 naira are now charging 100,000 naira. I don't even want to talk about transport, right? I don't even want to talk about healthcare and all of that. Now, why I asked you the first question is, why did organized labor not rather think, because we know, no matter how well thought out this sharing of money is, because that is what it is going to fail. It is going to be a fraud. It is going to be a sham. Why did organized labor not think of engaging the government to say, okay, touch Nigerian citizens in the area of food, call it subsidy, call it whatever, but this is where the average Nigerian spends money. Touch the average Nigerian in the area of housing, some kind of affordable housing. Touch the everyday Nigerian in the area of healthcare. We go to hospitals and we know many of us die because we can't afford the medical bills, right? Touch the everyday Nigerian in the area of education. School fees is what takes the money off the pocket of almost every Nigerian worker and then every other average Nigerian. Why is organized labor still on the table talking about let us watch the palliatives when we know palliatives to the Nigerian politician is share the money? And when we say share the money, we know where it goes. We are Nigerians. Why are we still discussing with government to roll out palliatives when we know what they mean by palliatives?
It depends on the angle you are coming from. Because if you had Commissioner of Soludo, their governor, you understand that what he was saying is that apart from reviewing the minimum wage, according to what they agreed on, apart from reviewing the minimum wage, they are going to talk of how to liquidate arrears of pensions and gratuity own workers. I don't know if you heard that one.
I heard that. I'm coming to that too. Yeah.
Okay. So the issue is that I don't know. We are in an inaugural situation in Nigeria.
Okay.
You understand? So everybody is being pained with the current happenings in the society. Do you understand?
Yes.
So when you talk of pump price, you understand that it cut across not only the civil servants, like I said before. We go, both the federal staff and the state staff and local government staff, we operate from the same, most of the time from the same locality. We go to the same school, our children go to the same school, go to the same markets, and we pay the same house rent. There is no difference between the house rent the state civil servant will pay and that of a federal. You understand?
Yes.
There is need for harmonization this time. Personally, I'm saying is that there is need for harmonization. For harmonization between the federal and the state workers. So that when they be apart, you now look at the benefits. How will it affect the common man? The palliative should be extended. Transportation vehicles. You understand?
All right, transportation, yes.
Yes, that will help alleviate the pains of the common man in the country. Because if, for example, that this money they are saying that they are going to map out to be put to Nigerians, I think I don't know. I can't remember how many million households they said they put the money to.
60 million. 12 million households, 60 million Nigerians. Their calculation must have been a family of 5.
Yeah. So when you look at that, you now find out that so many people are kicking against it. Who have just called it the same thing you have just called it, a sham, a fraud, and so on and so forth. Even the Governors Forum rejected that. Labour equally rejected it. You understand? Because when you say that, you are not going to, when you distribute that money, it might end up not reaching the people the money is meant for. I don't know whether you are getting me.
Yeah, we can hear you, yeah, clearly.
Now, the directive from National Executive Council of the country that the state government should establish
the register.
Social register. I don't know if you have heard that one.
Yes.
So, because if you want to get it right, you go to the grassroots. You cannot do it up from there. So, that is the thing. And coming to labor side, I must tell you that the leadership of labor in Nigeria, the current leadership, is very, very effective. I must tell you that. They know what they are doing. We just have to allow them some time for them to conclude whatever they are doing. You understand?
All right. Now, okay.
To protect the interests of workers and the Nigerian citizens.
Okay.
I assure you of that.
All right. Now, let me ask you the question. You did allude to two of them, and I'm going to add two of them to this. And that was the come up at the NEC meeting, because after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did order for his administration to review, or agreed, because Nigerians refused the first one, are going to review that subsidy package. The next thing we've heard of that caliber is the NEC meeting they had. And at the NEC meeting, we can talk about so many things they discussed. But one of them, just like you said, was the states are going to open up, the register. You've also talked about the arrears to be paid to workers and everything. One other thing they also did talk about is, I think I've forgotten the name they called it, but it was some kind of cash gift to public workers, to civil servants. I asked this question because you talked about harmonizing. And if one of the things that came out of that meeting is this administration is not going to harmonize, because if you listen to what they said, even the governor of Anambra State also said that much, that let us not even fix any amount to this money that will be given to workers. Let states pay at their own pace. Let states decide. A state can decide we can pay 10,000. A state can decide, whatever it is, we are going to give to workers. I'm just saying that is a signal to some of us that harmonization is not going to happen, at least right now, except there is a new movement that pushes and gets for that. That is on the one hand. But then, what assurance do you have? Like I said, let's talk as Nigerians who live here and who understand how politics and politicians work, and we've lived here for so long. What is your assurance? One of the things that came out of that meeting was the fact that, okay, well, if states open up this register, it is going to be more accountable, and it is going to be more, it's going to capture really more of what it should be than if the federal government opens. That is one. The second one right now is that, well, this is also good news, since the increment is going to allow for states to have more money from FAC, right? And that if this money gets to the state government, then it is going to be uhuru for everybody, make people happy. The states are going to have more money to perform and all of that. Does that in any way assure you?
Assure me of what?
Assure you that, is there any assurance we do have that more money in the coffer of states arising from this is going to translate to a better life for the people?
Well, it depends on individual. Like in Anambra State, for example, we know that our governor is somebody that is, I would say, he has what it takes to lead this state. You understand? He has the interest of common man at heart. And I know that in some other states it is like that, because you remember that states like Imo have increased the salary of workers
by 10,000. Yeah.
You are aware of that?
Yeah, 10,000. Yeah.
Then Lagos State have given 25%. Likewise, there are some other states. But Nigeria and what we experience here. See, so the one thing is important.
Okay.
That thing is that if the federal government have directed that the states will open the register here to capture the vulnerable, the people that the money is meant for, when the state comes back here, They will be looking at where are we going to put in this money to touch the life of common man. You understand? Coming to assurance, you are asking me.
Yeah.
Not the state governor. You understand?
Okay.
We have our individual minds and individual opinions in whatever issue that is raised. So when they are not doing what they are supposed to do, as a labor man, as organized labor, as a force in this, we have to sit up and tell them that what we are doing is wrong. So that's so much, just like palliative money. Remember when palliative was given for when we had an economic crisis? You know that. Yeah,
true.
Remember?
That we only discovered during the NSAS.
Someone diverted that money for another purpose.
Yeah.
You understand? And Labour kicked against it. Labour kicked against it.
Okay.
And some of the states, the money was recovered. So that is what is going to happen. We have to do the right thing. We have to do the right thing. That is what I have to say on that.
All right. Now let's talk common sense. Common sense we are going to talk here is this is just the beginning of a hard road. I know it doesn't sound nice. I know it might sound alarmist, but let's just look at the figures, right?
Yes.
NNPCL has explained to Nigerians their own explanation as to why this increase has to happen, even though they say it's a good thing.
Yeah.
They tie all under what they call market forces.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you look at all of the variables that tie up to become what they call market forces, it is not in the favor of the everyday Nigerian as of today. Like I said, I'm not trying to sound alarmist to anyone, but then let's split this, right? One of them is the cost of crude, which they said was at $70 per barrel, but now it's at $80 per barrel. And this is one of the reasons why we are having this sharp increase. I mean, this one that moved from 537 to 600 and something. They explained that. Now, if we look at this one, we now see it is not in the favor of any Nigerian, because ordinarily we should be jubilating that we are an oil producing country, and what we used to sell to the world at 70, we now can sell at 80 and make more money. But rather than smile to the bank, the everyday Nigerian right now is crying. Okay, that is one. We understand that anything could happen. It's a volatile market right now, and anything could happen, and it rises. If it rises, what they are telling us is, that is what it means. We know what that means. It means if it becomes $90, if it becomes 85, we are going to cry more. That is one. The second thing they also did talk about import charges, which is something fixed by the government, and we felt, well, in a time like this, the government should have the power to simply say, okay, so Nigerians don't pay more, let's reduce this. But it could also rise tomorrow. That is the second one. And then freight charges. All of these things could rise tomorrow. And then how the naira and the dollar, romance each other. And we know most times, especially in recent times, that romance does not really end well in the favor of the naira. So all of these four factors, the NNPCL has thrown to be market forces, really means that tomorrow we could wake up and then we are buying petrol at 800 and something naira. Now the question I'm going to ask is, some of us we are very we are very expectant, and we felt there was hope when Labour did state some, throw some cards on the table and say these have to be addressed before you remember when you wanted to go on strike? One of the things Labour said that many of us supported was this: all right, before you do anything about subsidy, before you take off subsidy, even if it's the modular refineries, we're not even talking about the national ones, right? Let the modular ones be supported by government to come on board. The government has not done that. The government has not fixed our refineries. The Dangote, which is a private, and I hate to talk about that because that is a private business, and Nigerians shouldn't talk about it like it's a savior, right? Now, even that one that would have is not yet on board. Now, all of these things, we are not touched by government. one of the things Labour also said was, okay, wait a minute, who are we even negotiating with? Let those whom we can hold accountable come on board. And I was thinking maybe that should have been ministers. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just thinking, right? Now, all of those things have not happened. And here we have. Now, in a situation where, God forbid, as we will say, I'm a Nigerian too, just like you, God forbid, the price keep pushing up. What safety net does the everyday Nigerian have since Labour did not stick to those demands?
Remember,
yeah,
negotiation is still ongoing.
Okay.
You have not forgotten that.
All right.
And the Labour is kicking against the increase. How will I describe it? The incessant increase in the pump price of petrol. You understand? From the former 520 and so on and so forth. So forth. They have increased it again at the beginning of this week to another 617 naira. That is the current price now. And you are aware of that.
Yes.
So, and the Labour is kicking against it. Labour is even threatening to withdraw from the negotiation. I don't know if you are aware of that.
We keep hearing that, yeah?
So, the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria is that the politicians has failed to, help the common man. They have failed to keep to their promises during campaigning. They have failed to, do what is right, at least for once. The normal thing is that the presidency should have put this palliative first before increasing the price of petrol. I don't know if you are aware that even Peter Obi, who happens to be the presidential candidate of Labour Party,
yeah,
you understand? He agreed that he's going to remove the subsidy. But some measures that were put in place before that removal, the government didn't do it. All they did is to make a pronouncement. Remember that so many people lost their life because of this increase in pump price.
That's true.
So many people.
That's true.
So I don't know. Some are rendered homeless because they cannot pay the house rent. Some people have closed their business. And when you talk of the pump price increase, it's not only for the motorists. You use it for your home, whatever. Companies use petrol to power their generators and so on and so forth. So automatically the prices of commodities will be skyrocketed. That is the effect. So what I'm trying to say is that we cannot lose hope. We cannot lose hope. We'll keep pushing. We keep pushing. We cannot fight government. We only get them to a roundtable discussion to tell them this is what you are doing at a force in the governance. So that is the one primary assignment of Labour. But we are going to get them accountable to what they are doing. If they are not doing the right thing, we'll tell them you are not doing the right thing. We engage the government to do the right thing. You understand? To take care of the workforce, to take care of Nigerian citizens. That is the work of Labour.
Organized Labour, yeah. Now, I'll thank you very much. But then, here is what I'll plead. And we are on air, and so whatever your response will be, it will also be nice if the people also hear that, because I could be wrong. One plea, I'm a Nigerian, I live here, I go to the market and everything, is as much as we appreciate what organized labor is doing, it is also good for organized labor, and sadly, right, we hardly can think of, and that is why I invited you to this platform, we hardly can think of one institution that stands right now that we can say, okay, convey, pressure the government. That's the right word. Pressure the government, because this is the only institution right now that can tell government, if you don't do this, I'm going to withdraw this service. Okay, that is the only institution. Others, if Nigerians who have a history of saying, if we go out to the streets, we know most times it doesn't end well. So we are looking to organize labor, and so this is what I say. Organized labor should also understand that, for instance, me sitting down here in the studios, right? Whatever any governor, that was why when you talked about what the governor said, that doesn't concern me. My dad is not a civil servant. He's not even alive anymore. I'm tending for my family. And if you pay the arrears of every worker, it doesn't touch me, right? Okay, so what touches me are the same thing that touches everybody. And where everybody is connected to is we go to the market. So what is happening with food? We send our children to school. So what is happening with education? We all need the hospitals. What is happening with the hospitals? We use transportation. What is happening with transportation? Government should, like I said, I don't believe in palliatives. I'm not pushing that to anybody, but I'm saying I don't believe in palliatives because the Nigerian politician has proven himself over time that what he understands by palliatives is sharing money.
Yes.
And they have also proven over time that what they understand by sharing money is sharing money to political associates, and we can't pretend not to know, right? But then there are things they should do with this money. The federal government has insisted that, well, we are now making more money. All right, from the money we are saving from not paying these subsidies. So all of this money should be pushed in all of these areas I mentioned, so every Nigerian can benefit, right? And so it's not 8,000 naira, it's not 20,000 naira, it's not 30,000 naira that will solve the problem of the Nigerian worker extra. If the Nigerian worker pays less for the children he sends to school, right? Then you have touched him. If the Nigerian worker pays less money when he sends his children or when he goes to the hospital, then you've touched him. If the Nigerian worker spends less, when he's transporting himself to and back, and his children also, the money he gives to his children to go to school, if you touch him there, then this is better for us. Let us pressure government to do that. And then secondly, let us also pressure government. The federal government has no business whatsoever. I don't believe in the refineries Nigeria owns. Trust me, I grew up in Kaduna, and we can talk about that all day. It won't work. But then there are these modular refineries that the federal government has given license to. I think about 40 of them. And they keep saying the federal government is not supporting them. It's not supporting them. Access to funds, access to crude and all of that. Let them start all of this production. And then every day we read in the papers about some illegal refineries that are being demolished. The federal government should bring these guys on board. If they have the capacity to refine, if they have the technology to refine, then let us find a way. Since we can rehabilitate terrorists who kill our wives and rape our children and destroy our farms and everything, if we can grant them amnesty just to have development, why can't we get these people who are already trying to do something, and we call them illegal refineries? Can't we get them on board and say, okay, these are some kind of requirements we need. 20 of you come together, we support you with funding. Since we are also, what do you call them, militants, we also have program where we pay militants. So, okay, you guys can benefit the country, right? And then bring all these guys on board and let us save the Nigerian economy. We will plead that organized labor sits down with government, and this does not need the government to spend much money, because all of these people are people who are already out there doing something. The government just needs to give them some kind of support, and we will pull through. Organized labor, please help us, because honestly, I can't even think of any other institution that can save us right now.
When you talk of organized labor, you should bear in mind that organized labor involves
TUC.
Trade Union Congress, you understand?
Yeah.
So we have Nigerian Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, and at the state level we have a joint negotiating council.
Yeah, true. That's true.
And these three things makes up the organized labor.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't lose hope.
Okay.
I've just heard what you said, and I don't know, but the issue of this palliative is what triggered this discussion, right?
True.
So, and looking at that, we'll keep hoping that with time we'll overcome it, because I know the center there at Abuja, the leadership of NLC, TUC, they are not going to disappoint us. I believe they will get to the root of it. And the government must do what they are supposed to do.
All right.
If you know the assistant of the current national president of NLC,
Jude,
is a dogged man, and he's somebody you cannot toy with. So that is that. So let's Nigerians be hopeful that better days are ahead, better days are coming. what I would say.
All right. Thank you very much, Comrade Humphrey Nwosu. Even though you are not in the States, you promised you were going to pick the call when I called today. You are out there, I think in Enugu State you are right now. Thank you very much, and we wish you safe journey back home to Anambra. One of these days where you are going to be here in the studio and we're going to have this 30-30, because I'm sure the audience will really want to ask you questions and have you give them the answer yourselves, yeah?
It's all right.
All right, God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, still Citizens Forum on Sapiencia's channel, and that has been the NLC chairman, Anambra State. He was supposed to be here in the studios, but I mean, they are quite busy right now, and he had to rush down to Enugu, but he promised he was going to do this, and that is a promise kept. Exactly how we want our politicians to function. So when you campaign and make promises, we just expect for you to do the BRS minimum, and that is fulfill your promise. Of course, within the week, a very interesting thing happened. Nigerians, you can trust Nigerians, especially young Nigerians, to do this. They went and dug up a campaign promise made by Mr. President when he was still a candidate, and he was going about the country, and he promised that 197 was unacceptable, and he was going to do everything to bring down the price. My good friends will say the rest is history. Still Citizens Forum